And we are very pleased to have you with us on the starting lineup as we begin the second segment. Starting lineup brought to you by Play It Again Sports, Fremont Shopping Center, Battlefield in Fremont, Springfield. Great place to shop, folks, and you can't go wrong. Swing Right Golf on South Campbell Avenue, a little bit north of Nixa. Wonderful place to hone that swing with the simulator and the outdoor batting cages as well. You get it all at Swing Right Golf. Brought to you by Citizens Bank of Rogersville with two locales, one adjacent to Highland Springs and the other in Rogersville itself, and by Marshfield Chevrolet. At the I-44 exit, you cross over I-44 onto the North Outer Road, take a left turn, and you're driving right into Marshfield Chevrolet. I'm Ned Reynolds along with
Scott Purrier.
Art Haynes.
Good morning, Arthur.
Morning, guys.
We're going to talk some Bears soccer. On the line with us is the fifth-year head coach of Missouri State men's soccer, Michael Seabolt. Michael, good morning.
Morning, guys. Great to be with you.
Thanks. We appreciate your time. Your Bears off to a 2-0 start. They got a very nice come-from-behind win over Penn State on Sunday night. Great atmosphere, apparently over at Allison South Stadium there. Probably couldn't draw up a better start than what you've done so far, correct?
Yeah, I've been super proud of the guys, and it's not just the 2-0 in the regular season. They had a great preseason, a great month of July, a lot of work during the voluntary practice period, and then 3 great preseason games where we got wins in all those matches, and they've really started off consistently well and working hard, and was a great team culture. So there's a lot of good things happening and a lot of good chemistry, and we aim to keep it going this weekend on Sunday night against Chicago State here at home again.
Coach, is your Penn State matchup a home and home? Do you go there next year?
We went there last year.
So it's their return, okay.
It's their return. So we beat them there at their place 3-1 last year. So we're 6-2 on the aggregate in the 2 games, and we've gotten rid of the Nittany Lions.
Arthur?
Michael, I know one of your preseason games, you met Creighton in Kansas City, right, and beat them.
Yes, sir. It was a great day in Kansas City, and a big thank you to Sporting Kansas City and Swope Park. We've had a partnership for years, along with Creighton, with the Sporting Academy, helping work with the young kids up there and help them with their ideas about their futures and their college dreams. And they allow us to use their facility, the beautiful match field at Swope, and it's just a great place to meet and play Creighton. And it's been a really good partnership, like I said, for a number of years now.
Of course, while other Bears teams moved to Conference USA last year, you guys joined the American Athletic Conference for soccer because there is no men's soccer in CUSA. Kind of talk about the AAC and what you learned about it in the first year, and who are some of the powerhouses that you'll play this year?
Well, what I learned in the first year is they changed the name. It was the AAC when we joined it, and now it's just the American Conference. They've shortened it and kept it really simple. So it's the American Conference now, and it's a great league. In Division I men's soccer, the SEC doesn't sponsor the sport, and the Big 12. So you only have in the SEC, you only have South Carolina and Kentucky, and the Big 12 you have West Virginia and Central Florida. So the power leagues in men's soccer are the Sun Belt, the American, the ACC, and the Big 10. So those are the 4 big power leagues. So when we left the Missouri Valley, we got an invite straight away from the American. I literally got a text that day. Talked to our AD Kyle Motes at the time, and everybody thought that was the right thing to do. And then Patrick Ransdale, the new administration, agreed with that, and we just kept moving forward. And it is a tremendous league, and you've got schools like Charlotte, South Florida was heavily invested in soccer, FIU, FAU, Memphis, Tulsa, Temple, ourselves. It's an awesome league and some great markets.
That's Temple's my alma mater. When you play them this year, is it in Philly or is it here in Springfield?
It's in Philadelphia.
Very good, sir. How do you rate their team?
They're a good team. Actually, I know the head coach very well. He was when I was the head coach at West Virginia University. He was my assistant coach. His name's Brian Green. Really good guy, and he's taken over that program a few years ago, and he's working hard to build a great team.
Arthur?
Art?
Sorry, Michael. Great atmosphere, I know. Sunday night for that Penn State match, there was a tailgate between the men's and women's matches, and a lot of energy in the place. It
was awesome. I mean, Richard Vance at billiards and Joey Kaiser from Will Fisher they helped us put on a great tailgate. And so there was a tailgate from 5 to 7 between the matches. And we had students out. We had locals in the community. We had student athletes out. It was just an awesome night. And it just fed right into the stadium. And a lot of our guys thought it was the best crowd we've had in their time here at Missouri State. And wasn't the biggest crowd we've had in terms of absolute numbers. We've had some bigger ones in the NCAA tournament we've hosted, a conference tournament we've hosted. We had a great one opening night, 1,500 opening night. But it was just a great, excited crowd that felt the energy of the team. And even when we went down a goal, the guys were playing great and pressing for a win, and the crowd got behind us, and we had a great drum section, and it was just a lot of fun, and so such a 12th man, and the guys were so excited to get that result and celebrate with the fans.
Sounds like you need to bring Will Fisher back more often. That and college students go pretty well together for good atmospheres. Michael, the American Conference and bringing a Penn State here as a non-conference opponent, does that status help you in scheduling? I mean, to get people and kind of talk about the challenges you have of getting a Penn State to come here. Obviously, it was a home and home, but what do you face in terms of hurdles to get the Power Four, so to speak, to come in and play here in Springfield?
Well, as I mentioned, we're considered a Power Four league in this sport, so we're on a level playing field with Penn State and. Some might have thought, okay, well, that's an upset. It wasn't an upset. I mean, we're 4-0 in the 4 times we played a Big Ten opponent, right? 2 wins against Maryland and 2 wins against Penn State. So for us, it's it's something that we believe that we can compete, and we can compete every time we play, and we want to be better than those teams. So the scheduling is always a challenge in college athletics. We all know that, but we've had a really good team, and teams want to play teams with a high win percentage and with a high probability of in-state tournament success, and we're one of those teams, and we're able to schedule very well and very aggressively.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about the team. Who are some of your top players out there? On whom are you counting this year?
Well, Ned, I think that's one of our strengths. I mean, we have started the season with so much depth, and we're playing with two forwards up front, which a lot of teams now will play with one striker and wingers, and we've decided to play with two center forwards and really aggressive. And those guys are just relentless. And we've got 4 or 5 different guys that are playing up there that just are nonstop and scoring goals and creating goals. And but Alex Rodriguez is off to a great start, and Diego Real and Ben Furlong got his first goal of the season the other day. Fenton Mooney's just been relentless going forward. And then, we've got a tremendous midfield, and Jared Harlock and Daniel Souza and Adrian Esteban. Adrian had one of his best games for us the other night. And then, across the back line, we've had, Hugo Jenkinson and Harris O'Connor have been just been stalwarts back there. And then Victor Watsowicz scored his first goal of the season the other night. And then a young man, Marco Rosati, started his first game against Penn State, and he's off to a great start. And then we've had 2 great goalkeepers step in, both starting their first match for the Bears, and they both had great performances. So there's more guys I could mention, but it's a deep group. But there's some special guys, and if you love attacking soccer or attacking football, you got to get out and see Diego Real and Alex Rodriguez playing together. They're so exciting, and they're just bringing some really cool stuff to the field.
You have to be calling Alex Rodriguez A-Rod. You've got to be.
100%. You nailed it. He is A-Rod. That is 100% it. I had to think for a second to remember his name this morning.
Arthur?
So, Michael, in the Penn State match, you had quite a blitz there with 3 goals straddling halftime in the span of 7 minutes. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, there was a lot of momentum, though. We were knocking on the door nonstop, and had a number of chances to score. But then A-Rod set up an unbelievable goal for Kay at the back post, and Kay, I forgot about him, is another striker that's playing very well for us. And Kay left his feet and smashed it in at the back post, and then right after halftime, straight off the kickoff, won a corner kick, scored on the corner. A few minutes later, won a penalty kick, scored that, and honestly, we should have scored more. But at 3-1, we saw the game home and finished it off.
Michael, looking at your roster, a very heavy international influence on your roster. We hear a lot about NIL and then transfer portal with football and basketball and those sports. What is that like with Division I soccer? Is there a lot of movement? Is there a big NIL piece in men's Division I soccer? Kind of talk about that aspect of it.
Yeah, there is, and when there's revenue share or NIL, it's a significant thing, and that's part of the makeup. There's some restrictions on NIL rules and what you can do with rev share and NIL with international students. So honestly, it's a good affordable market. Some of the best Americans are a very high priced category right now. But we're working hard to get a really cool revenue share group together. We've got some cool things we're working on, and we're planning to really get heavy in that market in the coming years and make sure we're bringing the best Americans to Springfield as well. And then, we're recruiting here locally, and there's some really good kids coming through the next couple of years. I've been in the club here locally for almost 20 years now, and we've had a lot of local talent play for us. It's just been a couple year stretch where some of the best guys locally weren't quite the fit for us, but there's a couple of guys we got our eyes on in 27, 28, especially in 28. There's a couple of really top guys.
Coach, you bring up a very interesting point in regards to the international students coming in. How difficult, and this is to enhance a little bit about what Scott asked you, how difficult is it to get the good American players here? I know in tennis, they tend to go to the big-name schools. Is that the same with soccer?
Yeah, it can be. I mean, look, basketball has changed. NCAA basketball, where it's much more international. What it is it's a global sport, right? And soccer is the most global sport. And basketball, since we all just old enough to remember the original Dream Team and how that's changed basketball around the world, basketball has become a global sport. But it's not that it's difficult to get top Americans here. It's that we've got to make sure that they're ready to play for the Bears and be one of the best teams in the country. And there is a really hard recruiting market for that. I mean, you've got schools like Indiana that we're looking to reach that. We've got to win our first national championship, and we're recruiting to do those things. And but we've got a really great American guy that just joined us from South Carolina and another from Texas, and we're just going to keep building on that. And again, locally, there's some good talent we're looking at the next couple of years, and we know those families and those young men very well, and they know who they are, and we're going to keep working to recruit them here.
Arthur?
Obviously, you've got a culture going over the years. I mean, Coach Leamy started it, and you have maintained it. What is it now? How would you describe Missouri State men's soccer?
Well, I mean, you bring up Coach Leamy, and I mean, he's what a great friend and colleague and boss for so many years, and he had such a tradition of hard work and a team that was never going to quit and was always going to make it a player's day. We were just going to go for it, and we just carried that on. And he just was fantastic during my time working together with him in a time in transition and allowing me to take more responsibility as time went on, and then ultimately really, really gracious at a time when we made the transition, and he's still so involved with Missouri State men's soccer. And this program simply does not exist without people like Jan Stolle and John Leamy and Harry Cooper and some of these people that made this possible. So, and they continue to be amazing people in the community that get behind us. Lynn Thompson and, Lauren Cook and so many guys that are Heath Mallusion, Phil Mallusion. There's just so many people that make this program exist. And I can't mention Nick Dryden here locally. I just can't possibly mention them all. But, we're a program that we're going to work hard. We're going to represent the Ozarks in a great way. We're going to be blue collar. We're never going to stop. But we're bringing a lot of flair to the game, and we got a lot of talent and some highly technical players. And, I heard you talking about Indiana football. We're a little bit like that. Where, people might underestimate how talented we are, and we're going to keep reminding them.
Just don't send too many of your players to see Dr. Mallusion. That's not a good prescription there. Wanted to ask you before we let you go, Coach. I think there's a lot of parallels between you guys and the baseball Bears. With what Keith Gutton did, and then Joey Hawkins carrying on that mantle. What you're doing with Coach Leamy. Joey can't get rid of Gutton over there. He's around calling baseball games, around the park. Does Leamy hang out and around Bear soccer still quite a bit? Yeah,
he's around all the time and working heavily in the foundation. He doesn't. I don't think he's done a broadcast. We've got to try to talk him into it. I don't know if he'd do it or not, but we see if we get him on a broadcast like Coach Gutton is. But he's there at the games, and he's our number one fan, and does so much to help this program behind the scenes, and just continues to make my job easier as being an ambassador for this program, and we couldn't be happier. And you mentioned baseball, and there's some parallels, and there's parallels in just having good people that want to support the Bears and be a part of this program and see it succeed. And Joey's awesome. He's a good friend, and we share a lot of notes, and a lot of ideas. And Coach Gutton, I talked to Coach Gutton about recruiting and how to build a roster so many times, and he's a tremendous guy. I see him on Monday for lunch a lot of days, and they're just great people at Bears Athletics, period.
Even though you were associated with Coach Leamy, you're not exactly a newcomer yourself. You've been with this program. How many years in Springfield is this for you?
Well, I'm sitting here on my porch here on Fremont. I walk to work every day. I live here in Roundtree, and I think I'm 20 years in.
Jeez.
My first season was 2007, so what are we in? 2026, so I think this is my 20th season or something along those lines.
That's pretty good.
Well, and Leamy did a great job with us breaking down the World Cup. We had him on a couple times there, and I don't know if you know this, but he ran long with this segment a couple times, breaking it down there. But he'd be great for soccer because there's a lot of fill time in a soccer telecast. Leamy'd probably be great as that color analyst, wouldn't he?
I can't imagine him having anything to say on this podcast. You're making that up. There's no way that happened.
Yeah.
But no, I'm sure he did a great job with the World Cup, and what a fun World Cup it was. And we got a couple guys from Spain that obviously Spain won the World Cup. That they play a lot like the Spanish team in the World Cup. They're pretty special players and a lot of fun to see. So people need to get out and watch us play this season. I think we're going to bring some real excitement to that stadium.
And Coach, next match Sunday night, correct, at home?
Sunday night, 6:30, Chicago State. Expect another great home crowd, and student support with Bear Apocalypse has been fantastic, and we're going to keep rocking that stadium, and then we go on the road to California, and then we'll be back again to open American Conference play up with FIU.
Very good. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
You too.
Thanks, Michael.
Michael Seabolt visiting with us. He is the head soccer coach at Missouri State University, and they are really, really a very good team. So is the ladies' team, and their soccer is coming on, folks. We'll take a time out on the starting lineup. Back in a second. Very good interview with Coach Seabolt. He has a lot of interesting things to tell you about the soccer program, as did Coach Leamy for all those years. And this is really one that's burgeoning onto the scene.
It is. And Art, wouldn't you draw some parallels there between Bears baseball and Bears soccer?
That's a very good comparison of, I know he said he's in a Power 4 conference now in soccer, which is remarkable, but most people would think Missouri State is not a destination school, and it kind of is in men's soccer, and it kind of is in baseball.
Yeah,
they're both overachieving programs.
Absolutely, and there are those teams that the Power Fours or bigger name schools don't want to play when it comes to postseason too.
Yeah, correct.
Ask the Nittany Lions about that.
Yeah. Well, and anytime either one of them makes the NCAA tournament, it's never really a surprise to see them win a game or a round or advance, because that's kind of the reputation they've developed there too as well. So, yeah, interesting that looking at the roster breakdown and I checking that out. I think there's one or two American players on there, but that's if you want to be really good at soccer. I mean, let's be honest. If you've got a bunch of kids from Missouri or Oklahoma or whatever, you're not going to beat a bunch of teams that have kids from England and Spain. And
not usually.
Yeah, just the emphasis that's placed on that sport at a young age in those places, and that's what you got to do to be competitive, and that's what they're doing now. So,
well, exactly. I mean, it's like, Wyoming isn't going to win with Wyoming players very often. There aren't very many of them.
Yeah,
they got to go somewhere else. You got to go to where the players are, the good players. And that's what soccer programs have to do.
And how often during the World Cup was the question bandied about, well, we're a big country, why don't we have all these players? Well, there's a reason, in my opinion, and that's because the diversification in sports that we have in this nation. Right. Those other nations do not have that.
Absolutely. Art, we were talking first hour about the Royals. Heard the Wiesen guys talking about they're not mathematically out of the wild card race right now. which is just like you did, laughable about 2-3 weeks ago. In that American League, that's very mediocre after a couple teams at the top. Have you given up that hope, or is there still maybe if they stay hot for another week and let's see?
Well, let's see. They're 4 games behind Detroit for what that's worth, getting out of last place. 3.5 now. 3.5 now. But, they're 7.5 out of the wild card. A lot of work to do. You'd have to get ahead of Toronto, and that's who they play now. 3-game series in Toronto. If they win that series, we may be talking about something.
Well, and Ned and I were going through the teams that are ahead of them in the wild card. They're all teams that have their issues and could be, I guess, classified as mediocre this year, the way they played, too.
Yeah, the Orioles and the Rangers, teams like that. I'd go ahead.
Yeah, the Astros, they fired their GM and their coach is lame duck, and they're right there, in the hunt for the wild card in a very bad American League this year.
Arthur, they're in the hunt to win the division.
Yeah.
You follow baseball pretty closely, Arthur. The 2 leagues, the National League and the American League, do you see a discernible difference in talent between the 2 of them?
Well, now, the balance has swung to the National League, no question. The American League East has got 3 good teams, and other than that, there's not much in the American League this year.
A couple things we didn't get to in the starting 5, kind of outside the baseball realm there, but the Cleveland Browns named Deshaun Watson their starting quarterback. Art, your reaction to that?
Unbelievably. He looked like crap in the exhibition game the other day. I watched some of that. Sanders looked much better. This is just got to be a deal where I'm paying this guy all this money. We're going to give him one last shot to see if he deserves it, but he did not win that job in preseason.
Well, and it may be, too, that with Shedeur Sanders, I heard the Wiesen guys justify this, that maybe they start Deshaun on the road. I think they've got Jacksonville and Tampa on the road. So if they go 0-2 and they sputter, then they can make the pivot before they come home to Sanders and let him be the starter. Maybe they're setting it up that way.
And this is the last year of Deshaun Watson's contract.
Is it?
It evaporates after this year, and it's it's huge.
I think they owe him a lot of money for a few years, don't they?
I think it evaporates because he's been under contract with them for a long time.
Yeah, and so, obviously, and he's been very mediocre, but, the guy that's kind of gotten forgotten in that whole thing is they were not bad with Dylan Gabriel at quarterback. And you looked at Gabriel's numbers, they were probably more efficient than they were with Sanders, who was throwing to the other team quite a bit. But you don't hear much about Dylan Gabriel anymore. It sounds like he's settled into the third guy role with them as well. So
I wasn't even sure he was still with them.
Yeah, and not getting a lot of action except maybe late in these games.
I think you're right. I heard that, too, about the early schedule for the Browns, and Watson just got unmercifully booed at home in the preseason. Yeah. So he's going to get booed at home again unless he's won one of those games in Florida on the road, and then that might take some of the pressure off.
Well,
and if not, they go to Sanders.
They were talking about why in the world would you give him a microphone to chastise the Cleveland fans for booing him when he got or cheering when he got hurt, and all that. That does not exactly endear him anymore to Browns fans there. Not a great PR move as well. We'd kind of forgotten about her because she was more in the headlines for stuff she said and did than anything else. But Angel Reese sets a WNBA single-game record with 26 rebounds in their win last night over the Los Angeles Sparks. She also set a single-season rebounding record as well. And I think she had a 31-point night. We've seen her kind of become not the headline girl for the wrong reasons and maybe starting to play basketball like people thought she could.
Yeah, there have been other villains for Caitlin Clark this year.
Yeah.
So, that's good on Angel.
What's interesting about them is right after the WNBA season finishes off, they have the Women's World Cup, which is being played in Europe. And the USA, Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark are both on that team. So it's incumbent upon them to at least get along for a while anyway.
Now, do they take Sophie Cunningham to that to be Caitlin's enforcer?
Maybe.
You know, just in case any other country tries to beat her up or anything like that. But, yeah, and we were going over this right at the end of the first hour, but the Athletic, the National, remember that publication way back when?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, the Athletic, they ranked their FBS teams 1 through 138 yesterday. Interesting that they've got Indiana number 1 overall.
Wow.
Yeah, Oklahoma 10, Mizzou 35, which is 10 below the coaches poll, Arkansas 76. But the Conference USA, it's Liberty 86, Western Kentucky 89, Kennesaw State 90, Jacksonville State 91, Delaware 99, and Florida International 100. So 6 CUSA teams within 14 spots of each other in that, I guess, the bottom third of FBS schools. Sounds like it's going to be a very competitive Conference USA season.
Yes, it does. I mean, and we still don't have a real good handle on the conference. And I think that may be a yearly deal because of the turnover of players and coaches in some case. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to predict, but that's kind of coalescing in Liberty, Western Kentucky, Kennesaw State as being the favorites.
And then
Jacksonville State, I mean, don't forget about them.
Yeah,
They'll be good.
New Mexico State 117, Missouri State 119, Middle Tennessee 130, and Sam Houston 134 out of 138. Interesting, between New Mexico State and Missouri State at 118, Coastal Carolina. So Coach Beard's got a little rebuilding project going on with a team that was 6-6 last year, I believe, as well.
And a bowl team.
Yeah, bowl team as well there too. So
maybe it is a rebearding program.
Rebearding year for them. Yeah.
Good.
And Parker sent me this last week. He was listening to Veasan, I think, after our show. And I don't know if you guys caught this or not, but one of the experts, you know, they're making their locks for their picks for like season win totals. They had Missouri State take the under on 4.5 wins.
And take the under?
Take the under, yeah. And Parker sent me that little piece on it. And I don't know if it was Dustin Sweetelson or which one of their guys it was, but said, you know, new coaching regime, lost Jacob Clark, rebuild offensive line, you know, just a lot of factors there. They thought the Bears could not get to 5 wins this year. I know we've all three talked about maybe 5 or 6.
I had them at 6.
Yeah, 6 being the peak there. But, you know, when you look at that Conference USA and the way everybody's bunched up, you know, it's going to be every week is going to be, sounds like pretty much a shootout and a toss-up in that league.
Well, and it was last year,
yeah.
And the Bears won those games. But they had Jacob Clark.
Mm-hmm.
So see if they can carry over that momentum.
And I think he emphasized in that little take on Veasan the Marshall matchup as being the you know, the really what is this team made of type game there on September 19th.
In all honesty, Ed, that's, in my opinion, that is a barometer on the team right there because the Marshall team the Bears beat last year, it's a good win coming off a thunderous loss out in Los Angeles. Big win on the road at Huntington. But it was not a Marshall team that was together. There were a lot of newcomers. This team is together, and they'll be tough. It's a great program.
Well, one last thing before we go to break. I saw where the Diamondbacks have said that Ketel Marte, it will be a short stay on the IL right now, that he'll be activated as soon as his time is up. Your thoughts on that, both of you, that Arizona is just going to go, hey, you know what? You didn't show up in Boston. You didn't come to the park. But we'll welcome you back with open arms here in about a week.
I'll start. In my opinion, I think the knee injury is a catalyst. I think there are other deep problems that he has as a person. And this is not the first time he's had these difficulties. And what is your philosophical approach with not reporting to the team, not even going to the game? No, I think they're ready to get rid of him.
Well, I mean, he's a very good hitter, and they're trying to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So that would be a reason to welcome him back for the rest of this year. But, I mean, I understand he was seen out gambling in a casino during his little hiatus. So, yeah, I mean, he's trying to get himself together, and hopefully he he will be in a better place.
Well, Art, everybody knows that's how you heal knee injuries at the casino.
Yeah, it was at Talking Stick where we stayed when we went out in March, so I could see why he was out there, and they had a really nice pool. He could have rehabbed in the pool outside too there as well. But and you're right. I mean, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't for their front office, because if you discipline him, sit him out, and you don't make the wild card, your fans will go, wait a minute. We had an all-star sitting there that we decided to punish.
And everybody's fired. If
Exactly. Yeah. So play the guy that gives you a chance to win, I guess. And it'll be interesting to see how that locker room accepts him too, because, major league guys may be a little less forgiving than the public and the fans that want wins. There ought to be some kind of an apology or speech, I would think, coming the minute he walks in that locker room.
I think so, but the team may be aware of his past issues and be a little more compassionate than you think.
Absolutely. We'll take time out.
The Cubs really walloped them last night, too.
7-0, I think.
Yeah, 7-0. Yeah, timeout. Timeout on the starting lineup. Back in a second. And the starting lineup is brought to you by Played Again Sports, by Swing Right Golf, by Citizens Bank of Rogersville, and by Marshfield Chevrolet. At Reynolds with
Scott Purrier.
And Art Haynes.
And our special guest on the line with us, as he is every Tuesday morning around 8:30, we welcome in Trenton Berry, RacingDirt.com, here to talk some auto racing. T-Bear, good morning, and you'd be proud of me because I was up in your neck of the woods yesterday on the way back from Old Kinderhook up by Max Creek and stopped at Mr. Ed's for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And
ever?
Yeah. Ever.
Yeah, ever. We'd driven by it a million times. Didn't even know if it was open because there weren't any cars there about 2 o'clock, and we pulled in. And I'll say this, the curly Q fries are a lost art. Nobody has them anymore, but they do those very well there.
They do. They do the cheeseburgers very well. The other thing that's really good there is just a simple chocolate ice cream cone. They do a great job there at Mr. Ed's. Now, hey, there was big news up in that part of the world, though, Scott, over the last week. Did you guys pay attention, and did you notice that the Insane Clown Posse held their annual gathering of the Juggalos? And now this was big news all around. There were thousands of people that were like big-time followers of this band called the Insane Clown Posse, and they had a huge gathering in Max Creek over the past week.
Did you go?
I did not. No, I was busy, but you were good though. You were a day past the Juggalos get together.
Are you a Mr. Ed's frequent flyer?
Oh yeah, go by there on the way to Marshall, and I've stopped in there many a time.
Yeah, good stuff there.
Yep.
So, well, T-Bear, give us some good stuff in auto racing this week. New Hampshire this past weekend wasn't one of your favorite races, as you indicated. We're getting ready for the Chase, though, correct?
Yeah, and you know what? Hey, I didn't get to watch every single lap of that race, but I watched a big chunk of that race, and I saw it there towards the end, and it was pretty good. That thing raced a little better than I expected, but NASCAR was on that less downforce, high horsepower on these smaller and intermediate racetracks, and so that one fit in that category. And I think it raced better, really. I mean, that was as good a New Hampshire race as I can recall. And hey, if I thought it was a snoozer, I'd just tell you I thought it was. But they've had some snoozers over the years, but I really thought it was pretty good. And Ryan Blaney, that was his second win in a row there, so he's clearly got something figured out there above everybody else.
T-Bear, how many openings are there for the Chase, and when does it begin?
Yeah, so one race. There's one race left. They're going to Daytona this weekend. There's 3 spots that are available. So there's 13 drivers that are in. There are 3 that are left. So the 3 positions, obviously, spots 14, 15, and 16. So currently, Bubba Wallace, Austin Cindric, and your boy SVG are in. Those are spots 14, 15, and 16. So the next spots, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21, are anywhere from 31 to 102 points out. It's going to be really difficult to make up a lot of points for those guys that are on the back end. Ryan Preece could absolutely race his way in and play spoiler on this thing at Daytona, though. In
regards, however, to points, how are they distributed? Yep. The winner will get how many, and so forth and so on.
Oh yeah, here we go. I got to dig back here and look. This is one of those efforting questions here. I've got it here, but it's gonna take me just a little bit to get it. let me roll back here just a little bit. They don't give away a whole lot of points, so that's one of the things that has changed with NASCAR. They used to give away just a ton of points, and of course, this would be where I don't have it just absolutely right in front of me.
This is great radio, T-Bear. Keep going.
Yeah, it is. Hey, yeah, no problem. Hey, thanks for having me on. I'll be glad to join you next Tuesday too. So, they get 10 points for winning a stage, and it goes from 10-1 for your top 10 finishers. And then you get finishing points, but it's not just a ton. And of course, I do not have this right here in front of me. We're going to have to roll on to something else, and I'll find it here in just a second.
We'll
exactly.
See what he has.
Yeah,
points breakdown.
Art, can you fill for a little bit with a question here while T-Bear's rummaging through papers?
I thought Ned might favor us with a couple of tunes.
There we go.
Yeah. Here we go. All right, here we go. All you fine folks right here on the radio today. So it's 10-1 based on 1 to 10 your finishing positions, and then they're going to reset the points. They're going to reset at 2,100 points. Whoever's at the top after Daytona, it's going to be a 25-point gap to second. And it's going to drop in 5-point increments from 5th through 16th, and that's going to set the stage there for the drivers that are winning. For the drivers that are winning, it's like 35, 40 points to to win the race. It used to be a really simple format that NASCAR had, and then they decided when they did all this that they were going to complicate it, and what was good enough for years was no longer going to be good enough. So it's hard to make up a lot of points. Some dirt track series race with a ton of points per night, some don't. NASCAR doesn't currently distribute a lot, so small gaps mean a lot more in NASCAR.
Trenton, you mentioned off air that you didn't see much of the Grand Prix race in Washington, D.C. I understand they had a Legends race, and Jeff Gordon won that.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that. I saw Rusty Wallace was in that too, and they were running those IROC cars, which was kind of cool. Neat to see Jeff Gordon get out there and win that race as well. That was cool. You know, he's one of the absolute best that ever raced. You can't take anything away from what he accomplished in his career. And really, you know, the cool thing about Jeff Gordon was, you know, he did TV for a couple of years once he was done, but he's taken over the day-to-day operations for Rick Hendrick, and he's the heir apparent when Rick decides that he wants to retire to run Hendrick Motorsports.
Get the water
so,
here for.
That's a pretty cool deal for Jeff Gordon to be able to lay claim to. Neat for Hendrick Motorsports as well.
Got another Saturday night race at Daytona this week, the Coke Zero Sugar 400. Talk about it a little bit.
The Coke Zero 400, yeah. So wild card right at the very end. This is one of the drafting races. Everybody's going to kind of be gathered up together. They used to call them restrictor plate races in the day. They don't run those restrictor plates anymore. But so everybody's going to be in a pack all night long. That's how somebody like Ryan Preece could jump up and surprise people, and you know, and some of those guys on that cut line that are right there, 14, 15, 16, could fall. I did find the points here, Ned. I did find the points.
Shoot.
55 to win a race, 35 for second, down to 27 points for 10th. Those are your finishing position points. So it's going to have to be a monumental effort for somebody to jump up in there. But stranger things have happened.
This race at Daytona coming up on Saturday, is this the old Firecracker 400?
It is, but they don't call it that anymore because they moved dates with it. And now, you know, that used to be 4th of July for years and years, but now that 4th of July we talked about a couple of weeks ago is going to Iowa Speedway. They're gonna host that race, and it's been a few different things on the 4th of July. They were in Chicago this year at Chicagoland Speedway, which is going to be back on the schedule. The street course is not happening. That was kind of an 11th hour breakdown, and it dealt with money from the state that was not going to be there to allow that street course race to happen. I'm really surprised by that because I thought that was going to happen. So, yes, this is what would have been the Firecracker 400. It's the second race at Daytona that's coming up here, and it's kind of a wild spot on the schedule. I like the Firecracker 400. I thought that was kind of an institution type race, you know. But you know, they've shown this regime has shown they'll move stuff around, shake things up, and shuffle the dates and the schedules and whatnot. And So yeah, that's that. I guess Daytona even fell to that as well.
Arthur?
4th of July there was at Charlotte for a pretty long while, wasn't it?
Well, Memorial Day was. They ran the Coke 600 on Memorial Day.
Right.
That was there.
That's right.
Really, that Firecracker 400 was for years and years was a Daytona. So I don't know. I don't know what their long range plan is with what they're doing, but they're definitely showing that this group that's in charge is not doing the same things that their predecessors did. So,
T-Bear, what's going on locally?
Well, so for us, and it's not exactly right here locally, but we have the Larry Phillips Memorial coming up this weekend, and that's a huge thing. We got all eyes and guns blazing towards that. That race has moved around a bunch over the years. It's been in the Ozarks some years, and this year it's going to Tri-State Speedway just outside of Fort Smith, Arkansas, a place that Larry is in the Racetracks Hall of Fame there, the Tri-State Speedway Hall of Fame, and it's going to pay $7,575 to win. On Saturday night, going to pay $575 just to qualify for the A main. We're going to have a race on Friday night, a preliminary night. It's going to pay $2,075 to win and $375 to start. You guys notice in the 75 theme here. And if that wasn't enough, there's lap money. So there's lap leader money. A lot of times for memorial races that gets raised. It's kind of a crowdfunding type effort of people that make smaller contributions. So we're going to run a 40-lap feature next Saturday night. Each lap is $175 it's going to pay to lead that, so long as we got about 10 or 12 of those left to get sold. But and the final lap's going to pay an additional $750, and you guys guessed it, that grand total on lap money, that is $75.75 in additional lap money for somebody if they're able to get out front, lead all the laps, win the race. It could be over a $15,000 payday next this coming Saturday night. So really looking forward to that. You know, we've ran several of these Larry Phillips Memorials. I'm grateful that Terry gives our promotions company the opportunity to work with him and assist him in doing this race. He's very active in helping keep the memory and the legacy of his dad going and keep it thriving for years and years for their family. You know, I was at the very first Larry Phillips Memorial right after he passed away, and I was just out of school. And it was at I-44 Speedway in Lebanon, Missouri. And I'm telling you, it's a thrill of my life to be able to, professionally and personally, to be able to carry on, help carry on LP's legacy for this next generation. And what a better time to go run the LP Memorial here than on the cusp of him going into the NASCAR Hall of Fame. I mean, what a great deal. It's going to be such a fantastic weekend. I can't wait. We've got ceremonial big checks that pay tribute to LP that we're going to give the winner Saturday night. And, all sorts of good stuff. It's really a fun event. A couple of years ago, we had Mark Martin there as the Grand Marshal when we had it at Monette. So just
any
super
names,
excited for this one.
Any name drivers coming in?
Not for this year. I talked to a few. Whatever, just wasn't gonna work on the schedule. It's hard to get those lined up, and you can sometimes, and you can hit people and get them lined up when it works. But it's gonna be a great race at Tri-State, and I'm really looking forward to it. First time the race has ever been there.
Arthur,
when is the NASCAR Hall of Fame induction?
January. Yep, it's in late January. They're going to go to Charlotte. So, and I talked to Terry the other day, and he's talked to a lady with the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and so each one of these inductees, they kind of get a person that tells them the program and the package and what they're going to have to do. And Rusty Wallace told Terry he's going to have to get a tux, and Terry doesn't own a tux, so he's going to have to get a tuxedo for this, and that he's expected to give the speech. And Terry's not so sure that he's done that, and they're going to have it on a teleprompter, and he's never read off a teleprompter. And I told Terry that we could work on this if we needed to. I said, hey, I know an old boy, his name's Ned, that could maybe get us some TV time if we need to work on a teleprompter.
Of course.
And so he's a little nervous about that. But Rusty told him it's going to be no problem. The NASCAR Hall of Fame, they are sending a transporter to Terry's race shop to pick up the car. So they recently restored one of his Sportsman Grand Prix Pontiac's asphalt late models, the red and white number 75. So they have told him they're going to come pick that thing up ahead of the induction, and they're going to have that thing in Charlotte. And I think it's going to be there for a year inside the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and it'll be there for LP's induction. And he said, that gal called me the other day, and she just told me we're going to do this, 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 and this. He said, I just told her, okay. He said, I don't know if I can do it all, but he said, I'm sure going to try.
Good for him. Good.
T-Bear, we appreciate it.
He's excited.
Have a good weekend down in Fort Smith. Is it Saturday, the races, or when are your races?
Friday and Saturday. Friday night and Saturday night. Yep. So I'll have all sorts of good stuff to tell you guys next week, plus Daytona.
Sounds good. We'll see you then.
Appreciate you guys.
Trenton Berry visiting with us. Dirt Track Racing timeout on the starting lineup. Right back. And with the big night coming up, for your final few minutes of our show, fire away.
Yeah, one of the stories we didn't touch on, and it really kind of irks me, and I'm sure it does you guys too, but this situation now where the Daquan Wright, the tight end that was a former Ole Miss player, has been with the Cleveland Browns in their training camp and preseason games on the sidelines, asked for his release so he can go back to LSU or go to LSU and play for his old coach Lane Kiffin for a fifth year as a tight end. And the SEC came out yesterday and says we are 100% against this. Are your thoughts? To me, it's just ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. I mean, he's a pro. I mean, and I know the players get paid in college too, but he's been in the NFL, even just a training camp. He's been on a roster. He is no longer eligible to play college football, in my opinion.
And you can see how the dominoes would fall on this because he wasn't the only one. There was a second player who opted out of his. I think he may have been with the Bengals. I'm not sure, but Titans maybe it was. But whatever, released from his contract, he wanted to go back to LSU. But fortunately, the SEC said, nope, not going to happen, so forget about it.
Yeah, well, in this case, he has to clear waivers. And so I've got to think there's an NFL GM out there that's an Ole Miss grad that would just claim him for spite. So the kid that played at Ole Miss can't go play for LSU and Kiffin. But it just seems like Lane Kiffin is just trying everything he do to really embrace that he can do to embrace that villain role this year, isn't he?
He loves it.
Yeah,
he does.
Yeah.
That's his ball game. Absolutely.
Hey, one of the things that irks me is all the newscasters now, and a lot of sports, but mostly newscasters, saying that Usain Bolt's world record has been broken by the robot.
Yeah,
it's a robot. It didn't break any damn record. That's ridiculous.
I didn't see that.
That's why they're newscasters and not sports.
Not sportscasters.
I've seen it, I bet, 5 times over the weekend.
Wow. That's
all right, guys.
Including on local TV news.
Yeah.
Oh, my. You mean our local station? I'm shocked. All righty, out of time, gang. Thanks for being with us, Ned Reynolds.
Scott Purrier.
Art Haynes.
See you tomorrow right here.
See ya.